Spoilers!
First, his YouTube name is Mikhail. He does the voice of the Anti-Man on my channel. So let's just take a look at how he's doing, shall we? Hey Neil, how's it going? Great. Well, you need a couple minutes to compose your thoughts? Okay, let's go to Matt instead. So, any immediate reactions to this ending?
How much tape do you have? I'll try to keep it short.
2 hours,
2 hours? That's not gonna go on YouTube though, all 2 hours.
No.
You know, I'll try to keep it as short as possible. It was very, somebody's phone. It was very conflicting because like when they first, this, I'm gonna take her over and it's like she's ripping her apart and everything. It's kind of seeming like she is, becoming to this evil thing and maybe even thinking that Madoka hurt her all that time when she kept reliving and she's trying to take revenge on her. Then it was, no, I love her. Then it was, oh, but now I'm this thing of evil, and it just kept kind of going back and forth. I think what they were trying to get at was that even though she was evil, she destroyed the entire world just so she could be with Madoka. But that really wasn't clear, and it was kind of done in a way that just seemed very disrespectful to the characters and ultimately just did not work. It was very confusing and it just did not work.
Yeah, I think the actual interpretation is that Homura now has basically encompassed the entire universe, the physical universe, into a witch's barrier, which the universe, that's something that you can apparently encompass.
Evidently, because she has the entire powers of Lucifer. Because Madoka was God and she became the devil, but is still in love with Madoka. Because that totally makes logical sense.
She's basically now trying to prevent Madoka from continuing her work as the goddess too.
But the question is why? Is it because she wants to control the universe, or is it because she doesn't want anything to happen to Madoka? The way they're doing it just seems so bizarre.
Yeah, she basically didn't like. In the movie, they said that she didn't like the idea that nobody remembers Madoka, so now she's created a world where she exists. So, but at the same time, you think that she would be satisfied with just being taken away by Madoka into her little Valhalla, especially considering that now we see that Sayaka and that new character Nagisa are along her through her journey. So, Homura probably could have taken up the third seat in the Apostles. So, I don't know why she didn't want to just stick with that.
That would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I've heard rumors that this is actually sequel baiting for a new season. What do you think about that thought?
I think they could have done a new season. I think that the way that they played it off, it just does not work. If they would have done it a little bit differently, I think it would have been a great setup for a new season. But the way they did it just did not represent the characters very well and just felt like it was undermining a lot of the things that happened, not only in the movie, but in the previous seasons. And so having a future season come after that is just... It's going to have to completely reset everything that's happened, and I don't think that it's going to work out in a very good way.
Unless they're going to somehow bring in new characters who are now going to fight Homura as the big bad of that season or something.
They could, but Homura has such a interesting past with a lot of the characters, including Madoka. The whole first season dealt with her traveling back in time and reliving the things over and over and over again. And the way that they did the timeline here, and again, it was because she didn't want Madoka, she wanted people to remember her and everything, but the way they reset the timeline, I don't know, it just felt so disrespectful to what that character had been through, that making her the bad guy in that way. I mean, again, if it was all love and all of this and that, okay, whatever, but this one, it's such a weird mix between I'm doing this for bad, selfish reasons, and I'm doing this because I want to help her. And just the way they mixed it just was so bizarre that I just don't think it's going to be respectful to that character in the future.
I totally agree. So, Neo has apparently finally come out of his coma, so why don't we get his opinion?
Well, my apologies, fans. It was wow. I mean, I think the best way to describe the ending to this anime series is pretty much. I've never read the book, but somewhere closer to Paradise Lost, where it feels like Homura represents Lucifer with the way she's trying to reach out to Madoka, symbolizing as the gods, and pretty much the only way for her to like go into this level is to become Lucifer, like the dark god, and consequential-wise consuming the whole universe to the point of making it like her own like dark illusion, you know?
It's a witch's berry now, basically, so...
Pretty much. And pretty much if Madoka comes up close enough to remembering what her real purpose is as being like this goddess of protecting everyone from all these witches, she will come across like this whole world destroyed because of Homura, so...
Pretty much.
It's pretty much a tragedy. I mean, Heizu Otaku best described this show as like a tragedy, and well, this movie just not only like slapped the title tragedy, but pretty much write it all throughout the big ass screen. And
do you believe like there's benefit in actually turning it into such a big ass tragedy?
I guess in some ways yes and no. I mean, there's always like a soft side when it comes to like tragedy where you kind of like appreciate something there, but in Madoka's case it's a little bit hard for me to find the upside, but I think the best upside was Homura got her wish. She finally got a chance to see Madoka again, which is kind of sad because this is like somebody who did something really good for this world, but Homura took that away from her, which is kind of like sad because it's showing her selfishness, but it's one of those sad love cases where it's like, do you do this for the sake of everyone else or for the sake of yourself when you're like living throughout this whole world? Which, yeah. But I would like to point out that fantastic animation still reminds me of the old Madoka series. It's this guy. To the company of Madoka...
To Shaft.
Shaft, yes. Keep your staff. I mean, they practically deserve their own, like, raises and rewards. Wow. Beautiful animation. It's...
Near perfect animation. The series had such great animation anyway, and this one just stepped it up to a totally new level. I mean... with the original one, when they went into the labyrinths and things like that, it was just mind blowing. This one had mind blowing animation just in the regular world and in the labyrinths. Near perfect animation, so good.
So,
Absolutely.
as a whole, would you say the movie is you really enjoyed the movie?
Madoka, as an anime to me, has always had a lot of plot holes in it. I love the characters, I love the character development, but the storyline has always been a bit shaky. Throughout most of this film, I thought the storyline was great. I thought it was very, very well written. It's just the last, little bit of it that kind of got to one of these, like, why was that necessary type things. If you're a fan of the films and you do not want to see, the new series or whatever, when they're kind of coming together and that they're, it's all lovey-dovey and I'm setting you free, just turn it off there. And it's a wonderful movie. If you want to watch that last 15 minutes or whatever it is, just do that as a setup for the next season, and hopefully the next season's going to be better. I doubt it, but it's possible.
Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on the film as a whole?
Same conclusion, I would say. I mean, Madoka was pretty much perfect as her own, as a series-wise. I think the movie is pretty much a very nice way to, like, add a little extra for, like, all the fans, but... yeah, if you're one of those hardcore fans who love the show too much to the point where it shouldn't have a continuing, like shows like Cowboy Bebop or
Avatar
and stuff like that, it's pretty much where you should stop. But all in all, you're a good fan of Madoka who's alright with a little extra continuing, enjoy it. Watch it. Be surprised. Be surprised what will come to you. You will have my reaction, I will assure you.
So, those were all of our thoughts on it. If you want my thoughts, go back to my original vlog review and, well, watch this movie at your own risk. In the end, we all thought it was something that should be seen, right?
Oh yes, definitely.
You think if you were to put it against the movies of this year, where would you put it? Wind Rises, Frozen, all that kind of stuff.
Oh wow, pulling up the hard questions now. Wind Rises wasn't my favorite Miyazaki film, but I mean even my not favorite Miyazaki films are still on such a high pedestal. Frozen was an amazing film as well, just barely under Wind Rises. So to add this on there, I mean, the animation was, again, it was so good. The film itself was great. It's just that last, little bit of it. As far as animated films go, I'd probably put it number 3 behind those two, Wind Rises and Frozen.
Okay.
It's really hard for me to compare the top mainstream awards in the Oscars comparing to Madoka. I feel Madoka is good to the point where it's like beyond the works of like mainstream, where this is one of those films where it's really hard for everybody to see it, because with films like Wind Rises and Frozen, pretty much of all age, whether it's like young, medium, and old, they can pretty much see it and sum it up. And pretty much if a young child sees Madoka, and especially the film, they're going to need some serious issue. But for me personally, I would actually put Madoka in number 2, actually, as great superior work.
After ahead of so what's the rankings? Wind Rises?
If anything, I'm sure a lot of you otaku fans might hate, might like this, but I would probably go with Wind Rises as well. I feel like if this is where Miyazaki ends it, I feel this is the right spot. This is where he's branched out for all the things he enjoys, all the artwork he makes, all the stereotypes he makes. This will probably go it.
So Wind Rises at the top, and then
Frozen number 3. I mean, gotta appreciate some of the creativity of Disney, and thank you Disney for not putting any of your Pixar's work in the Oscar films. It's great. I would probably punch a screen if it was like Planes or
Cars 3 that's coming up.
Oh God!
Really? Okay. Well, anyway,
it's actually there.
Let's erase the
Or should I say, oh Monica, no!
Let's erase that moment. Just say Madoka number 2, Wind Rises number 1, and Frozen number 3.
Okay.
Well, let it go. Let go.
It's still coming, I'm afraid.
Let it go.
Okay.
Let it go.
Okay. I just enjoy torturing these two. All right, so those were just our thoughts on Madoka the Rebellion story, and we hope that this was informative to you guys, and we hope that if you did see it, this will confirm whether or not your feelings on it, because quite frankly, when I left the theater, I was highly confused, and it just felt like an extremely long walk back to the hotel as I tried to gather my thoughts. But with these two, I think my thoughts have gotten pretty clearer, and as I said, I think I'm just going to stick with the ending to Madoka Portable. Thank you. So those were our thoughts. We had a ton of fun, and well, see you on my next video, which will be something a little bit different. Hope you guys will enjoy it. Until then, see ya.
really spoiling it to all fans?
Well, it's a review. It's supposed to be spoiling it.
Yeah, we're just specifically reviewing this ending. Just
This is spoiler corner, bro.